Sup traders, time for trade journal. It's what, April 23 or something? I'm having a losing week. I'm having a losing month. I'm having a losing quarter. I'm having a losing year. It's interesting. My equity curve trading looks like this, like straight up. This is what my equity curve looks like. And this was over a year, and this was over a quarter or 4 months. Like, it's possible. Right? So, what's happening here and here? Well, what's happening there and there, it's partially being new to these markets. And I know for sure a lot of what I'm dealing with is I'm battling with the addictive nature of the markets. Addictive nature of trading. So, I really need to analyze this because I have to ask myself. I was just over at dinner with my friends, and they were drinking. They're also smoking weed and passing a joint around. And I don't even think about smoking. I don't even think about drinking. I used to do these things. It's so easy for me to say no, I don't smoke, I don't drink. Why is it so hard for me to take a impulsive trade, not take a trade? Why is it so hard for me to wait? So, I don't fully have the answer on this, but this is where we're diving into. And this is what's costing me, preventing me from being unprofitable. Because I have certain areas where I have edge, and I'm going to dive into that later. But right now, what makes it addictive? So there's 3 things that I can pinpoint. The first one is opening a position, the second one would be watching a position, and the third thing would be closing a position. So what's interesting is when I'm flat and I'm not on a computer, when I'm flat, like, I don't have a problem. When I'm flat, I'm not compulsively checking the chart. I don't need to. I don't want to. I can put my computer away, I can put my phone away, whatever. When I'm in a position, it's really hard not to watch it all the time. Okay, now there's 3. One is opening a position. Opening a position has the potential for making money. And whether I make money or not, it's exciting to open a position because of the potential for making money and knowing what's going to happen next. So, wanting to make money and also wanting the dopamine of being in a position, I get excited by the idea of putting on a position, and I put on a position. So I put on trades more often than I should. Like, not only do I find sometimes I'm just like, we'll see a trade that's not there. Sometimes it's impulsive if I sit there and watch the charts long enough and I'm like, it's moving in my position, I'm going to add on to it, I'm going to advance my stop, and then now it just comes back and hits my stop. And I fucked up my trade. So opening a position is addictive. Number 2, watching a position, and this one is, both of these 2 are the most disruptive. Opening a position, because if I open to losing positions, I lose money. Watching a position, again, like, watching charts when you're not in a position, it's not necessarily that entertaining. When you're in a position, though, there's an emotional charge to every candle. You're short and you have a big red candle, it feels good. A green candle, it hurts. It goes red, you get relief. So this is one of the most addictive things, is sitting in a position, watching your live P&L. It's super addictive. And the third one is closing a position. So here's where it's interesting, where if I close a winner, I feel good, that's great. Now that is important, because when we're doing behavior modification, what's important is to modify my behavior in such a way that you get rewarded for doing the right things. So it's good that when I have a winning trade, it feels great. The problem is that when I close a losing trade, I get relief. So I open a position impulsively, it feels good. I watch the position, it's fun. It becomes painful because I'm taking a loss. I close the position a loser, whether I get stopped out or I close it, and I feel relief. You see how much I got from that losing trade? I got excitement, I got hope, I got pain, I got relief. So that's part of like how you can, as a trader, like keep taking losing, like train yourself to take losing trades. This is what I've done, essentially, train myself to take losing trades. So what's my solution to this? So solution number one is get a life. So when I made a fortune in trading, like I was working full time. I made $400,000, and really it was in a couple months. It was crazy, yeah. But I was working full time outside of trading. I think it's fine to spend a lot of time on trading, to get up to speed, to learn the different strategies, to get the chart time. But after a while, so if there's nothing interesting going on in my life, like same thing with drugs, like if there's nothing interesting going on, I might smoke a joint, or I might drink alcohol, whatever it is. If there's nothing going on, I might open a position. Now I have some entertainment, right? So a couple of thoughts on this. First, my experience with behavior modification, one of the best tools to fix behavior problems is to create better alternatives. So getting a life. In my case, it means like, okay, I'm gonna work. It's still gonna be part-time, but I'm gonna work a bit more and take on more responsibilities, and also again, and make my work a little bit more interesting. Maybe host volunteer days, host school tours, stuff like that. I'm also gonna make it a focus to go to the actual gym more. I'll work out at home, but it's just something to do. And I've done a good job of creating different routines, whether that's the farmer's market, a dog training, activities with friends, hanging out with friends, basketball, magic, whatever it is. But I really need to fill up my day, because I cannot have the time to watch a position, and the position should just close by itself, either at TPs or at stop losses. And if I have more going on, I'm like less inclined to just open a position, and especially just watch price. And part of the problem is I thought, like, I'm going to trade full time. I need to schedule my life around trading so I have all the hours available. It's not good, it's not smart. And I think back to a professional trader who's done very well the past years is Paladin Boutia, and people are skeptical of people who sell courses. It doesn't matter to me if someone sells a course. People sell a course because they like money and they want multiple streams of income, and also because even if you make a lot of money trading, it's still not always consistent. So it's not necessarily a red flag to have a course, but you can see his payouts, you can see the trades as he takes them, and so on. He mentioned that his trading improved when he went back to school, because he just had more going on. It's like, yeah, okay, and the more that I realized about most professional traders, not necessarily day traders, but like people who do well in the markets, is they don't trade very often. They don't put on trades every day. They do not. Most of them, some do, but most of them do not put on trades every day. They only take really good opportunities, and it might come up once or twice a week. It might come up once or twice a month. It might come up every year, right? And I don't see a world where you're sitting in front of your computer for 8 hours and then you trade once a week. Like, that's not, it's not going to happen. You're going to take on trades because of the addictive nature of trading, right? So it's important to get a life outside of trading. So that's the number one thing that I would say I'm starting that tomorrow, but I need to get my car serviced. So I'm getting my car serviced tomorrow, but I'm starting on this week. Number two is block timers. Okay. So something that is interesting is part of how trading was hurting me and was eroding my life is I was trading from my phone. I was trading from my phone at work when I started. I was trading from my phone or just watching like in the evenings, even when I'm driving, like have the ticker up, and just it's like having a dopamine stream into my brain, right? For whatever reason, it's been quite easy for me to stop doing that. Like, okay, I realize I have a problem. I don't really want to do it anymore. I want to say it's been over a month, and I haven't phone traded, and I only checked price like 2 times, 1 or 2 times in 30, 40 days. Hasn't really been a problem. There's a third thing, but it hasn't worked that well for my computer. So I have my computer here. Okay, it goes in a tub under the bed in storage. Now I'm gonna talk about my edge here in a moment. My edge is trading higher time frames, the daily chart. I do best when I wait for the daily close, and I ideally like see signs of reversal when price is really stretched, and then hold it for a big ride. That's when I've done the best. And it's trading the daily chart. And these I'm gonna come to this, but these setups are often obvious. It's just avoiding all the other stuff in between. So I've ordered this. It's on the way. I have a padlock, a digital electronic padlock with a timer, and a field box, like a tub with a lock on it, where when I'm done trading, after my trading hours and before my trading hours, and it's up to me to put it away and lock it, but in theory, I will only be able to trade for the hours that I schedule for myself. I can put my computer in there, and then I also have one for my phone. I can also put my phone in there. So if I'm like, I want to be done for the day, I'm going to make an impulsive decision, I'm done for the day. I'm done for the day. It's not going to unlock until my time on the next day. So I'm only going to be able to spend a limited amount of time. That's going to prevent me from doing a lot of chart watching. It's going to, which is where a lot of my, it's going to relieve my discipline quite a bit. There's still going to be a lot of discipline involved. I'm going to have to not open bad positions, and I'm going to have to lock my shit up. But it's going to relieve me of a lot of the discipline that I'm having to do. But it's going to put me in a position where I will be available to trade when it's time for me to make money, which I can do. So the third thing is isolate myself from trading, from other traders. Okay, and I've done a pretty good job about this. When I've been at my worst, I'm on Discord, I'm on Twitter. YouTube doesn't really count because I'm not talking to people about trade ideas, and it just so much of my trading time is actually just been posting on Twitter and talking to people on Discord, and it is a huge trigger for these things, where someone else opened a position, that triggers me to open the position. Now I'm watching. Right, I hear someone else opens a position, Now I need to have discipline to not do the same thing. Like, okay, that looks like a good trade. I trust you, I want to put it on. No. So I've done a pretty good job about that one. Some of these things have been easy. Some of these things will harder and take a little bit longer. The fourth one is prop money. So I started that on this a month, and I like it. So, and this is part of just reducing stress and capital management. I have so much capital, and I've squandered so much of it from the high of my net worth, and in order to retain my freedom, not the freedom to trade, but the freedom to walk the dog on the beach in the morning, and to eat high quality meat, and to structure my day how I want to structure my day. I need to make money, and prop money is a good way to go, actually. And it's also, what I've noticed is it's a little bit less stressful and less addictive because it's not really real money. So what I mean is these prop challenges where typically you have to get 8 or 10 R in 30 days, which is hard to do. If you do that, then you need to get 4 or 5 R in 60 days, which is also hard to do, but not that hard. And then after that, you get a funded prop account. It's just like insanely high leverage. So typically, for instance, you spend $1,000 and then you get a $200,000 account. But your drawdown is $20,000, so that's really what your equity is, and you can't withdraw except for profits off those $20,000. So eventually you get a piece of $20,000, but you're risking $1,000. Although actually you only get an 80-20 profit split, so you're only getting $16,000, but you're risking $1,000 to get $16,000, and that's an asymmetric return. Risk $1,000 for a chance at $16,000 is an asymmetric return. That's a really good deal. It's better than the risk reward I'm getting on trading any trade that I'm in. I'm not getting 16 R on my trades. So prop money makes sense. Now, it's also a way for me to stretch my money if I'm on losing streaks and reduce stress. So one way it stretches money is if I'm take whatever I'm risking on a trade and risk that on a prop firm challenge. That challenge, now, my strategy might be to risk 2% to get 10 R, because if I'm trading the daily, I don't get that many trades, but they're high probability. So I can't necessarily expect to get to 10 R on one trade, but on many trades, I could get to 10 R by having, say, a 3R winner, 2 3R winners, and a negative 1 R winner, and just waiting for that. And that's part of my plan, but it doesn't feel like real money because it's not. Like, I risk $1,000, yes, but when I'm losing a trade, it's just part of that challenge, right? It's like I'm paying an entrance fee. Now I'm in that, and I know I'm trading with demo money, and I know it's not real money, and it doesn't feel like real money. Like, when I lose real money, like, I lost $2,000. Like, I could have bought a beater truck for that. I could use a spare car. I could have booked a vacation with that. Now it's gone. When I lose $2,000 of demo prop money, I don't have that because it wasn't real. So I started this month, and I'm planning on focusing on it more because it's less stressful, it's less addictive, and it's also an asymmetric risk of return. And the last thing again is that I've blown challenges. I've taken in some challenges now. I haven't passed a full one yet, but I've blown a couple challenges, and it takes almost, like, the way I trade, it takes like a month to blow a challenge. I might be 2 weeks, and I'm like, man, I'm in so much draw. I actually haven't hit a max loss, but I'm so much in drawdown that no, one of them I did. I'm in so much drawdown, I'm probably not, it takes a week. So where I could, like, lose on a bad day, if I just break every rule, I'll lose 3 trades that day. I cannot lose start to finish 3 challenges in a day. It just doesn't happen. So it's a great way to preserve capital during losing streaks. Now, from here I want to talk about my system a little bit and my scheduling around it. So, okay, that's sort of the problems that I'm facing and my game plan of solution. So, system. I'm trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. The main reason I'm trading Bitcoin and Ethereum is because I want to reduce my workload and only trade a couple assets. Bitcoin and Ethereum trade 24/7, so there's no gap risk. I don't want to trade stocks because of gap risk. Also, NASDAQ and Forex also can have gap risk because they close for over the weekend. And NASDAQ and futures even close during the week for an hour, right? During the day for an hour. I just want to eliminate gap risk. And also, I've been watching. I'm quite familiar with Bitcoin and ETH price history and how they work. So what I'm trading is the daily close. Why? Because the daily chart is one. I have data that when I trade the daily chart, I often do quite well, and there's just more. It's easier to get a big. There's still losses. It's just easier to get a big picture idea. It's also hard to lose money quickly because if you put on a trade on the daily, like you might lose that trade that day, but typically you're only losing one trade. You might maybe I have two positions on Bitcoin and ETH and I lose them, but I'm not losing. I can't lose a bunch of ideas in a day. It's like the daily. I have one idea from that daily, right? So daily close. The main things I'm trading are daily candles. This is the main thing by far. I'm also looking at weekly candles and monthly. And then I'm looking at trend lines. High time frame, it needs to go back like a month and have multiple touches. And then I'm looking at exchange flows. This just gives me a supply dynamic if there's possibly a dump coming or there's a lot of coin coming off exchange. It suggests possibility of a bottom. And then HY block liquidity tells me what might be a good high time frame target when like after we've cleared a major liquidity level, then it suggests it's a good time to enter reverse. It's safe to enter reverse. So this is what my system is, and I put in the work. I don't need but an hour a day to implement this system. That is all I need every day. So part one is getting a life and doing these other things where, okay, I have other things to do and I'm going to squeeze in an hour here. And that's having an interesting job, making my work life interesting. Not because I need money, but because I need something interesting to do. I can't just sit here and do nothing, right? Like surfing is interesting, I can do that. But I need I need to make my life more interesting. So let's talk about the main setups. So the main setup that I like, I had a version of this where I was trying to, okay, this is my main setup. I have a couple, but it's daily exhaustion. Okay, the goal of this is to catch the entire move, or most of a move, on a daily chart of a big move. Okay, so typically this looks like price gets extended, right? Big trend. Okay. Now, there's a major level over here, in old price history. We surpassed that. Okay. Price starts to slow down. Okay. Now we get a reversal signal, and that reversal signal is a candle turns red, we make a new high, we fail to hold that high, and we have a big wick, a pin bar. So my original system, which I did well with this, in the middle end of 2022, was trying to predict where this pin bar, where the exhaustion would happen. Seeing once we've hit this target, we have a big candle, I'm going to put a limit order up here. And that did work well, but the environment changed, and I don't believe it's worked nearly as well in this environment because price trends a lot more. It's been a lot more of a trendy market, and in a trendy market, trying to predict that a trend is exhausting it's not good. So what I prefer is waiting for this signal, okay? And there can be a couple of versions of it, and oftentimes there will be a couple sweeps and a couple signals. And what I'm doing is I'm just waiting for the daily to close, and I'm seeing, okay, we swept a major target, we have our exhaustion, we're starting to signal reversal, and this can, I'm going to draw the inverse, which is a downtrend as well. I'm going to start selling on these days at the market. My stop is going to be near the highs, and on the first couple breakdown days, I'm going to add. So that's it. It's really fucking simple, and I think you can agree with me where if you look at the daily chart, like, if you can just trade these setups, it happens not all the time, but generally a couple times a month. Or like the huge moves, the huge tops look like this. Okay, so then there's the other end of the spectrum, which is where we take out this target, price starts to get exhausted, we start to change from red to green, we start to have wicks that take out these lows, we've got pin bar, we've got hammer candles. Okay, this is where I'm going to market buy. And as price breaks out, I'm going to add. Okay, so I'm choosing to market order and not to limit order because once the trend really starts to reverse, it shouldn't necessarily retrace. Like, some of these candles become big with no wick, and I feel it's just better to get into the move. Although I'm going to consider the idea of going back to limit orders, because one of the problems with market orders is once I'm in the trade, I want to watch it. One of the reasons why limit orders worked okay for me or better is because when I set the limit order, typically I wasn't going to watch the chart because I wasn't in a trade. It was kind of boring. And I would just like wake up and be in an amazing position sometimes, or I took a loss. But yeah, I could come back to the idea of market orders, but yeah, maybe split my order up and do a market and a limit. I don't know. I don't think it matters that much. What matters is the quality of the signal and holding for the move. So that's my primary setup. And again, if you look at the daily chart, this is not always what reversals look like, but typically the idea is then I'm going to hold it for some number of days. And then while I'm holding it, I might add on once or twice, but I'm not going to open new trades. I'm going to wait for the move to play out. So that's going to mean I'm going to take not that many trades. So that's my A+, that's the A+ setup, is daily exhaustion, trend reversal. And then I also have trend, my trend setup, This one is, so price is in a period of chop and consolidation for some amount of time. It's just doing this. Okay, so there's two things I'm looking for. The first one is price starts to trend, like, especially if we hold under a level. But if we're just under yesterday's high or low, that's good enough. Okay, I want to back up here. Well, let's talk about that in a moment. I would just sell at the market. Price is trending. It may or may not retrace. I'm going to sell at the market here. And I think I want to consider getting back to the limit because it's less addictive. Something about market ordering just like being in a position. Like switching to limit order was actually a huge thing for me where that was part of my becoming profitable was like I stopped market ordering, I started limit ordering where it's like I started getting better entries. I started getting some really good entries. And it's like, yeah, I expect price to come back here. And the limit orders do two things. One, it depends though, like with a limit order, sometimes this is something I really need to think about if I want to get back to more limit orders. Limit orders, you miss out on being in trades, and that hurts because you miss out on being on the winning trades. You participate in the losing trades with the limit orders. And you miss out on winning trades and participate in the losing trades. However, since you're more inclined to survive a retracement, if you keep the stop loss the same, but you enter on a limit order to a retracement, then you have a better chance. So I'm gonna make a note of it. I'm interested in going back to limit orders. Because that was a key to me doing a little bit of my profitability before, where it's like it took away the impulse out of trading, where now it's like, okay, it's hard to take a lot of losses with limit orders in one day at least. And I can not necessarily predicting. I think it kind of depends, but maybe once I get a trigger I might be interested in. That's something I'm gonna look at. Okay, but yeah, trending is just selling. I'm just looking to be below the previous day's high or low. And like, maybe I catch one or two big days. So the other version of this would be prices does this. Like, I'm just gonna buy here. In this case, smells like something's burning. Burning rubber. In this case, the market makes sense because we're just in a trend at this point. It definitely smells like burning rubber out there. What's going on? Let's get this fan going the other way. When we're having dojis, it might make more sense, like reversal, to go back to limit order for those. So I'm gonna make a note of that. Okay, so this is my second setup, and then I have a few more. So, okay, this one is the trend break. This is a trend line break strategy. So this is still based on the daily. So where I've gone wrong with this is, okay, this high time frame, say this goes back months. Price comes down here. I'm anticipating it breaks, I go short. Okay, I need the daily to close under this line. Once the daily closes under this line, I can expect a trend to start, and I'm going to market sell here. Again, maybe it makes sense to limit order for a retracement. That's something I'm gonna reconsider. The other version is price is coming down. We have a trend line. I'm waiting for the daily to close over this line. And then I'm interested in buying, whether at the market or a retracement. Okay. So I have one more setup. And between this should give plenty of trades to make money. Like, the technical system is not the problem. Like, these are really basic, but they work. They don't work all the time. They produce winners and losers, but they work. Okay, so the last one is would be inside bar add-on. So this would be, okay, say we start to slow here, and then we have a big candle like this. And I short it, and then the next day is like this. So I will add and advance stop. This is the inside bar add. If I'm in a position and there's an inside bar that goes in my favor and closes the daily, then I can add on that and advance. Make sense? The other version again would be, well, there's a couple. It could be maybe we're trending down and we do this. And maybe we have a wick like this, and then we have a candle like this. Okay, I'm going to add an advance stop. And then same thing, but like, say we're just trending, we're just downtrending, one, and I open a downtrend here, and then the next day it kind of looks like this, and it's inside. Then I can add an advance, or then the vice versa is we're just sort of in an uptrend, and we have in the uptrend a candle that goes in my favor. I'm going to add an advance. Now, I'm not going to add an advance on an inside bar that goes against me. Say this candle's green, or this candle's red. It's not a signal to get out, but it's a signal to not add. Yeah, so that's the entirety of my trading system, of what it should be. I'm looking at liquidity for an idea of where price might go in a high time frame, and I'm also looking at news a little bit, and I'm looking at exchange flows, but that's basically it. I'm looking at sweeping reversal candles, trending candles, price closing under high time frame trend lines, and I'm looking for price to add on inside bars. That's it, but that should offer enough setups to make plenty of money and pass challenges. But the problem is when there isn't a setup there. The problem is like entering a setup because of the addictive nature, and then watching and seeing something that's not really there and thinking and just entering and then just doing shit at the wrong time. I need to, I need to be much more selective about when I enter, and I'm going to do that by getting more of a life outside of trading. And I ordered this lockbox on the way where I can just physically cannot trade or touch my position outside of, or if I'm flat, stay flat. So that's where I'm at. And then, focus on more and more on prop money and demo money. It's just less risk. The reward is awesome for that. So, and then I can, So, stressful, not the best situation, but that's where I am. Anyways, much love. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.